Hello and welcome to another edition of ClearTalk. My name is Joel Harris. I'm the president of Solutions 360, and I'm honored to be joined today with one of my colleagues who recently joined us, Tim Archambault. And Tim and I, for full disclosure, worked together at a previous company. So I am excited that we get to resume our journey, and I'll give a little bit of background. But Tim, first, welcome to ClearTalk. Thanks for joining us today.
It is an absolute pleasure, and thank you for having me, Joel.
So I met Tim when we hired him to be a data analyst for our company. He soon moved into operations management, and then he grew into sales and sales management. So I have a guest today who has done the three key aspects that we really focus our business process software on solving, which is data and how we seamlessly create a workflow between sales and operations. So I'm going to ask Tim to focus a little bit today on how to create and increase profits in our integration business from those three perspectives. And so let's start today, Tim, with in thinking about your operations role, what was an example of how you bought more effectively to help increase the profit from an operations perspective?
That is perfect. So right when you first hired me on as the sales analytics and purchasing manager, there was one thing that we started with right out of the gate, and that was trying to understand the data of where we were buying product and then where were we buying from redundant manufacturers. And so we looked at all the actionable data. We found 10 different mount vendors, and we were able to streamline that down to about 2 or 3. So we still had some backups there, but we really went heavy with one of them, and we started buying containers of mounts that were really able to give us that economy of scale and drive our costs down significantly.
I think we were also a little surprised at how few amounts we actually bought, because our engineers and other team members really thought we were buying a bunch of specialized equipment. And it turns out we really weren't. So great job in finding, because if my memory is right, we halved the cost of our mounts. And for our industry, our little segment of the industry, it was a significant component of our cost structure. So it was one of those home runs where you do one small thing, but you do it 1,000,000 times, and it really made a big impact on our company. I want to kind of then, and this really kind of follows your career. So then, after you became operations manager, we said, hey, Tim, you do a great job of this. Let's make you the inside sales manager, because you'd always expressed and had come from a sales background. So then in that inside sales manager, we always struggled with boosting productivity of our inside reps. We didn't quite know how to measure whether they were successful. We kind of knew what good was and what good customer service was, but we didn't have a great idea of productivity. Tell me a little bit, remind me more than they tell me, but remind me a little bit about what you did to help create visibility and increase the productivity of your inside sales group when you took them over.
Absolutely. So kind of along the same theme of having that actionable data, we were able to look at our KPIs, and we were able to develop reports that had live time reports right in front of the team. So we had these really nice digital signage displays right in front of the team. There was one specific report that I really enjoyed, which was a Shark Tank. So as the inside sales team sold more projects, their shark got larger. If you ever had a project that had really low margins, the shark would go belly up. It was just a really fun way to build in the accountability with the team. So each inside sales team could identify with their shark, see it grow, get charged up about it. And it was just a fun way to be measuring the success that we were all having.
What I love that you did, and I'll add to your background, Tim also has a degree in psychology, so he thinks hard about how to motivate people. What I loved that what you did with that team is you let them control their own productivity by giving them visibility into the data. So many of us try to give key performance indicators as a historical, but they don't help drive real-time behavior. I loved walking through our offices and being able to comment with very little knowledge about what the team was doing, about just banter a little bit about the size of their shark and who was growing, and they loved it. They loved taking ownership of their own data, and I think that's an important lesson for all of us in increasing productivity for our colleagues. So Tim, moving along with your career, after a while you were promoted into national accounts manager and responsible for direct sales to some of the customers. And in that journey, you were able to grow one of your customers by threefold, a very impressive achievement. And I wondered if you could tell us a little bit about how you and your team were able to pull that off.
So in the past, it had always been managed by one specific account executive. And we created a really streamlined team, so it wasn't so reliant on one person. So we got a sales engineer, a sales account executive, project manager, and customer service all rallied around this customer's unique needs. And this allowed us to put repeatable processes in place where we weren't missing anything and any gaps. When anyone was on vacation, we always had their back, or any time of day, we always had somebody ready looking out for that customer. And through that customer experience, we were given new opportunities to grow the business. So we had proven ourselves in the core business time and time again. And that really just opened the door for us to get into new opportunities because we were then their tried and true valued partner for their core system.
That's great. And so obviously, if we knew that return would be available, we'd apply it to every customer, but we can't do that. And I'm curious as to what let you and the management team pick that customer to go ahead and make that investment into that then generated these returns. How would you suggest to listeners of our talk about how they might think about how to find that diamond in the rough that they really could mine?
So it really starts with having great actionable data. You need to know where your customers are and how they're performing today. And if you don't have a great tool like Q360 where it's showing you that data real time, you've got to go in and you've got to scrape for it. So if you're in my time as a data analyst, you got to go in, export all that data and figure out where you're profitable, where you're not profitable, from your equipment to your installation services, everything, and look at it holistically. And then for us with this customer, we were just at a great turning point where we were renewing an agreement. So it really forced us to go look at this customer under a microscope. And so that's really what started that process for us.
Thanks for that help and for our listeners. And with that, there were 3 ways to improve your profits through your integration business based on Tim's experience as an operations manager, as a data analyst, helping tools drive productivity for his inside sales team, and finally on how to grow a customer to increase your revenue and profits to your bottom line. Thank you so much for your time together with us today, Tim, and we'll look forward to the next one with you.
Thank you for letting me share, and good luck to all of you out there. Have a great one.